was that one. I don't think you like that one either. And then we can roll whenever? Mm-hmm. Okay. I've been thinking about how to open the show, and I don't really, I still don't know how. I guess we'll just, we did it.
There it is.
We're here. Our first guest after having the studio rehauled and going full production. A lot goes into this, more than what I ever expect until, like, I was talking to Muma, and I was like, hey, what time do you think we should start setting up? And he's like, probably around like 5. And I was like, why? And he's like, there's another camera, there's another mic, there's a whole nother person. And then I started realizing how much more is going into this. This is why you've always said no whenever I said we should do full video.
Because Mike says, let's record a band. And then we'll get all these people. And like, that's just mic after mic after mic. And there's, nobody wants to cooperate. And it just doesn't.
And I'll look at you when we're there and I'll say, we did it. We made it. But a lot goes into it. You got a small glimpse of it, but it's a shitload of production. I'm trying to learn it so that it's less people that have to be involved.
Are you trying to fire them already?
No, I feel bad. Like, because like Jared came down, set it up, and then he's leaving.
Kid.
Muma likes to
Zombie
hang,
barbecue, everybody.
Muma likes to hang. But I talked to you, what, you said a year ago?
A year ago, yeah.
That's how long I didn't realize it would take to get everything done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's a lot.
I was picking up boards. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was picking up our line last year. So.
Yep, and none of this was set up at all. I don't even know if it was painted.
Oh, wow. Well, it's come a long way. It's great.
Thank you. But I've been wanting to pick your brain on a lot of stuff, and I have a list. And when did you start, I guess would be, because you do so much different stuff. Like you do Lost Souls, and you do so much with that. You do a shitload of artwork on top of all that stuff, and you are in multiple bands. Like, when did you even start getting into being super creative?
I mean, I started skating when it was 1987. So I think ever since then, I was just really interested in doing stuff. But Lost Soul wasn't until, like, maybe early, I don't know. I've only owned the brand. It's over 12 years, so God, it just feels like forever. I feel like I've been doing stuff forever. I mean, whenever you're doing skate stuff, you just feel like it's continuous. It's like Lost Soul wasn't always there. There was also like a few other brands that I rode for before I rode for a local company.
Yeah, like where were you before even Lost Soul? Because you started skating young.
Yeah,
and then back then, it's not how it is now. It's not, you can't showcase your stuff.
No.
There were, like, I remember Shimersville, and I don't know when Penn Skate was open, but like, what was open even back then as far as getting to skate parks?
I mean, I really didn't. After high school, I went away for 3 years to go to the service. So
what'd you do in the service?
I was in the Navy, so I was like involved with weapons elevators, and basically the whole idea was like, I really needed to grow up, and I needed to get away, and like I hated my mother terribly for how mean she was to us all the time. So I was like, I don't even want to be in this country. I just want to go away. So basically all my friends majority of them went to Kutztown University.
Kutztown, famous ring balloon.
They all went to Kutztown, and then I was like, well, I'm just going to join the service. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. So when I went, I remember signing up, I was like, yeah, I'm here. And they're like, well, how far do you want to go away? You want to be stateside? I was like, I want to go as far away as possible. So they're like, how does Japan sound? I'm like, awesome.
So that's and this will tail back into, I never understood how, I mean, I just figured you talked to people, but you obviously were stationed in Japan.
Yeah, so basically while I was in the service, Navy dudes were just complete dorks. So like all they want to do to me is just like waste a lot of time, and I was just like, well, I feel like I can't give up skating, so why don't I just skate around? So you go to a local shop. It was called Wild Boys, and
it's a solid name.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And I just met some of the locals, and then one knew how to speak English a little bit, and then I was just like, well, how can we communicate better? So then we decided, well, he wants to talk to U.S. reps and also U.S. skaters more. So if I would teach him English, he would teach me Japanese. So it was like super cool. His name was Kame, and like he's the one that introduced me into that whole realm of those Japanese skaters, that they had their crew. And I was like, wow, you guys are just doing the same thing that I'd be doing with my friends back home, but we're in Japan. So yeah,
that's got to be very like, you're lucky in an aspect, but it would also be very almost like a culture shock, but bizarre, because you're doing what you would have done in Pennsylvania, but you're in Japan.
Yeah, but it's also terrifying because you don't know how people react towards certain things. Or like, you know, I used to have like a little bit of hockey temper when I skated, so it's kind of like they don't really do that there. You don't ever see people losing it like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I really got to tone it down and change it up a little bit. So, but
do you think you grew as a person from that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I just think it's just like you realize that like the world's way bigger than you can imagine. And like you do have so many similarities with people that like you don't really need to speak the same language. The language that you speak is skateboarding. So it's just like while I was there, like we would go to all these different ports. So, I mean, imagine going to like a Hong Kong, which we went, and I'm like, all right, let's just go skate. We have no idea where we're going. Let's just get off this boat.
Did anybody on the boat like go skating with you, or were you kind of by yourself?
No, we had like a 6 to 10 person crew of like guys that we skate with. You know, some would try hard, some wouldn't try that hard, but like for a while, I mean, it was just like, all right, like let's get down. Like we go to these ports and really try and skate and film parts. You know, we'd be filming on like really rickety old Hi8 cameras.
Do you still have all that footage?
I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
But I have it for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also like those ports, I would meet certain pro skaters and like you would just talk to them and they'd be like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm in the service. And they're like, oh, only like pro skaters from the US come here. And we're like, oh, I'm just here. And then we just ask like, well, where's like the dope spots? Show us.
Yeah.
And they
so
like,
you would catch people that would be in like the old VHS tapes, like from way back in the day, where they were doing like their traveling bit of the video.
Yeah, but it's also like locals. Like if someone just showed up in Nazo, I mean, you wouldn't really show them all the skate spots. Be like,
Keppels.
I know we can get out of here, and I'll show you some cool spots. So, I mean, that's basically what the service was to me, and that's how like I really got involved with skating in Japan. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Because
Yeah.
like to me, when I think of the service, I don't ever look at that as like you can continue doing the things you like. That like I always viewed that as a punishment, because my parents always be like, we're putting you in military school.
Yeah.
I never looked at it as like you can still have a life while being in the service.
100%. And like also like I learned Japanese because like how else I'm gonna try and meet a Japanese woman? You know what I mean? Like I can't just like stare at her. You know, it doesn't work. You look like a creeper. So I used to study a lot on the train. You know what I mean? Read books, talk to people, and then I think out of those guys, because the port we were in is called Yokosuka, and it was like an hour and a half away from Tokyo, but those guys brought me into their world, like brought it into your inner circle of cool friends. So they basically took me everywhere, like anywhere you can imagine. Like I was even on like a TV show in Japan just for like some crazy like Double Dare type event, and like they filled out the form and I was one out of the 5 people aired on the show, and all I said like just a few things in Japanese, and they went completely crazy. So like, what are you? And
is
then
that like the game show where like they run across like the balls and there's like things spinning around and it's like an obstacle course?
Kind of, but the one they had was like literally like a obstacle course of ramps and all this crazy stuff where you couldn't take your feet off the board. You couldn't, like, you literally had to like drop into a quarter pipe, go around stuff, like tic tac all crazy, try and board. And this is stuff where like you straight up board slide from no speed. You know what I mean? Like trying to figure that out. And I think you won like a serious amount of cash, but I was like, oh, I'll go to this. Who cares? Like, I'll just do it. So,
were you in contact with anyone back home, or were you like completely separating yourself?
I would try and contact them like every few weeks, but it's just like I never knew there was a delay in a phone call. So I'd be talking and I'd be like, Michael, and then you would start talking, and it'd be like that. But I know they didn't tell me that forever. So they're just like, just write us letters, because when you call, it's so frustrating because it's like everything's delayed. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So
that's so crazy that back then you would have to write a letter.
Yeah,
home.
Oh my God. Weiss Kings in Allentown. They were sending me full on maps of what they're doing to like the ditch and stuff, and they're like in letters, and I'm just like looking at this in my bunk, going, "Wow, this is like a skate spot now. I don't even remember this building even being here." So super cool. But I mean, it's just an easy way of keeping in touch.
How long was your stay there? You said you did 3 years?
3 years.
And you stayed in Japan the entire time?
Yeah. So I was there for 2 years before I came home. And then I came home and I was just like...
Did you come home because you were done with the service, or you were like homesick, or
I
wanted a change?
I had leave.
Yeah.
So I had leave to use. But then after 3 years, I was like, I'm over it. Like, I'm not really into fighting or into a lot of like weird, not like bullying, but it is kind of like there's some seriously jocks and dorks that like I just like, I mean, if you don't have rank, they will just ruin your day. So like I said, I don't drink, so I got outed so much for not drinking that like this one senior chief hated my guts. So he basically was just like we were out at this bar on the base, and I was just hanging with my friends, and he came over to the whole group. He goes, "All right, we're going out to sea, blah, blah." And I'm like, okay. And he just goes, "Everyone grab a glass." And I had a glass of water. And he got really mad. So he went and got a beer from the bar, sat it down in front of me and said, "Everyone drinks beer when they're with me." And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not doing it. And
it's very uncomfortable when you don't drink and people force it on you.
Oh, he's trying. And he was just like, if you don't drink this, I will make the next year of your life living hell. And I was just like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm just going to bounce. So I went, and then he did. I mean, I literally was on a paint crew every single day for a whole entire year.
Over a beer?
Over one beer. But I showed to everyone else that, like, I'm just not going to buckle for this dude. Like,
yeah.
No, just whatever. He's a senior chief. I'm not, but I'm not going to.
So how long did he ride your ass like that for?
A year.
A year?
A whole year. To make an example of me. And he was trying, and he would make me try and break me every port we went to, like Hong Kong, Dubai, all these places. I'd be hanging out with those guys at work, and he'd come walking over and, "Everyone grab a beer," and I'd be like, "I just have a water or like a Coke."
Soda. So it was like a continuing thing, because every time he did it, if you would have drank the beer, he would have stopped basically his punishment, but you just didn't.
I refused.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's our egos were so bad, and I just wouldn't give in. You know what I mean? Like, why would you?
So was it culture shock when you came back home? Almost to like...
Yeah, after 3... Yeah, if you think about 3 years, you haven't seen your friends. I mean, lifestyles change, cars change. Like, there was that whole Volkswagen movement that they were all about, my friends. And I was like, you guys are like into cars? Like, you guys used to have like beaters. Like, why are you guys so into this now? Like, I'm just so weirded out. I didn't know. So
how long did the transition take for you to feel like comfortable and kind of like back in with I mean, I lived in Virginia for a year and came home, and it was weird to adjust, and that's like a 7-hour drive, let alone being in Japan and then coming home. And
I mean, like a few months just to like really feel like, all right, this is home. You know what I mean? Like, this is cool. But I also was like, should I go back in, or should I just move back to Japan? Like, I probably could have way more fun. I mean, I met such amazing people in Japan, and they introduced me.
I didn't even think of that, because you could have came.
Yeah.
Because with living there, you could have uprooted and moved back and just lived in Japan and not been in the service.
But the cost of living was like a lot. So, and not having like a serious, I mean, once you leave, it's kind of hard to get a job. So I was just like, I'll just go back and visit. You know what I mean? Maybe my friends will be super cool when I get home. And they were pretty good, but it was just weird. I mean, you're mostly using the subways and trains when you're there, and you're not really driving around. So, I don't know. It's like, it was cool. It was fun, but I didn't mind like coming back.
So when you came back, and you obviously were still skating, when did like you start like deciding like skateboarding was going to be more of a serious thing for you? Like, because I mean, I remember the first time I ever heard about you was the article in Pulse Weekly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you remember that magazine?
Yeah. I found someone, Andy from Homebase, tried giving me a copy when he was moving the shop, and I was like, I already have one, but God, I remember that was kind of embarrassing. Yeah.
You thought it was embarrassing?
Well, I'm not. I wasn't used to putting myself out there then.
Yeah.
Now it's just natural. Like, I'll take bad coverage, good coverage.
Yeah.
I don't care. As long as it's way different now how I feel about myself. Back then, I was just still really shy, even though I was like still into band stuff and doing that stuff. And
I thought it was cool because that was like the first time, like I said, back then skateboarding's not what it is now. Like it's very accepted. It's very it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like there's with social media, they take, you know, pros and then they're like the face of a brand, of a business and all that stuff, and it's very like commercialized. But like back then when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's cool that skateboarding's on the cover of that magazine, because it wasn't being covered in that magazine or something.
No, it really wasn't. And it was just like we were trying different stuff with the brand. It wasn't mine yet. It was still the original owners.
Oh, well then let's go back to, because I didn't want to skip ahead on that, but when did you even get involved with Lost Soul?
I mean, so like from 98 to 2000, I was skating super heavy in the Lehigh Valley, and Chris from Penn Skate, much props, helped me get in the doors of sponsorship and like started opening doors with like distributors and stuff to try and, he would take chances on stuff, and then we would try and, you know, just I'll rock the stuff, I'll skate really hard, I'll film and edit stuff with, I don't know, kids like understand like when you're filming stuff on a video camera and you're dumping it down to a VHS tape, and then you have to sit there and link up two VHS tapes together, and you're syncing them and pressing start and stop, and it's just like, I was making like my own promo tapes then, and
yeah, it wasn't like
it's not now.
Before we get
now.
To pass what you said about Chris, like that guy helps so many people out and does so many things that he doesn't have to. I had him on the podcast before, and he was an awesome interview, and I want to have him back on actually to focus more on the pinball stuff that he does up there. But Chris is awesome. He definitely did a lot for my brand, and I remember when he was bringing me in there, he was still pushing your stuff heavily in there, and he was like bringing local brands and stuff, and like it was like I had no clue what I was doing, and he was just like, look man, like this is what you do, and this is how you would take this and you would make a profit, because I can't buy this off of you for this much money. I buy this merchandise. Like that guy was such a wealth of knowledge for me even starting any of this. He was so huge to have at that time.
Yeah, and like when for those few, I think like over a year or two, I did work at the park, and that guy had me on his couch when I took a huge slam on my head, and I woke up and I didn't even know where I was. Like, I don't know, he was super good to me. But like he said, he started opening doors for me with, oh, this is how you kind of get involved with other brands.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm going to get these shoes in. Do you want to try and use them? No one really likes them, but try them. And I'd be like, okay, well, whatever, we'll see what we can do. I mean, I skate here anyway. I was there like 3-4 times a week, you know. And back then it was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. So I'd be like all the time there. But yeah, so Lost Soul, like, I don't know, a little bit after that, but not too much, because I rode for like a small brand called Ballistic Skateboards out of like Georgia. That was really cool.
How did you make that contact with social media not even really existing?
So back then you had to travel. So
yeah, for contests and stuff like that?
Contests and also this content. So my best friend from this hometown in Macungie, I grew up with him. His name's Aaron Frobase, one of the coolest kids ever. He moved there. He's just like, I'm out of here. He goes, besides you, the rest of our friends suck. I can't stand them. I'm moving away. So he's like, he moved down to Myrtle Beach. And he's like, I'm just going to start over. I'm going to try my own thing. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'm heartbroken that like my best friend's leaving me, but whatever. He goes, well, you come down and visit. So like once a year, I would go down in October, and I would just go check it out. And next thing you know, he's like, oh, I got this roommate who's like a photographer down here for like skate stuff. And I was like, okay.
I forgot how huge that was when you ran into people who did photography because you didn't have a camera in your hand every day.
No, you didn't. And like, yeah, exactly. That's what's crazy. So yeah, I mean, God, it's so different now. But it's like, it's cool, and it's also like that was my opportunity to learn like skate industry stuff. So basically, they ran a local zine. It's called Switch Mag, and they also did like, they started just, you know, online stuff. And his name's Keith Jacobs, and he was, for some reason, if you can't connect with the photographer, you'll never get a great photo. But this guy was just like, I think we instantly, because he was super good friends with my friend Aaron, he was just like, there was a connection already. So he basically was like, I've seen some footage of you, like, this is what I've done in the past, but like, I don't think you're that kind of skater. And I was like, well, I'm not really a rail skater or gaps. I don't really care, but like, I'm down for like interesting stuff, like abandoned, destroyed. If we have to get chased because the background's super cool, like I'm down to try it. I mean, and he was just like, all right, well, let's just try it. So through him and shooting, you want to learn about a lot about your life. Take a Greyhound from Allentown all the way to Myrtle Beach.
Oh my God.
And then take it on, skate for a whole entire week, destroy your body, cuts everywhere. And guess what? Take the Greyhound back.
How old were you at this time?
I was in the early 20s.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm just going to go for it. And
it's a good time to do stuff like that.
Well, yeah, you should travel.
And especially if you're not drinking, like a lot of people spend that time like in bars and going out and being super social where like there's a lot of energy and you still have a shit ton of youth with you. And looking back on it, I feel like you definitely don't know a lot of what's going on, but you're interested in getting yourself out there and just kind of learning new shit. So there's a lot of people that wouldn't get on that bus and do what you did because either they would be distracted by the things you do in their 20s or they wouldn't have, not a lot of people would be like, well, I'm going to get on a bus by myself and travel to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And stay there for a week.
But he shot awesome photos. So he'd just be like, well, certain brands are hitting me up. Do you mind if I show them some of your shots? I think like you got something that a lot of kids aren't into. So it's not just like, you're not like a rail dog or you're not like this gap skater. He's like, you're really, he took me to some terrible looking, like a broken, abandoned spots. And he'd be like, can we set up something here? I know you're into that. And I'd be like, yeah, I need about 20 minutes. Let me look. And then that's what we do. We just look for the shot and do it. So Ballistic Skateboards came around. They were from like Georgia, super nice guys. And then of course it went under. And I think for a couple minutes I wrote for The Unbelievers, which was like a Jeremy Fish, famous artist. He like did a lot of the art for it. And it wasn't his, but he did all the artwork for it. And once again, I would go to Myrtle Beach and then I invite those guys back up here and be like, stay with me from Thursday to Sunday, and I will literally try and film and shoot a whole part in just 4 days. And they'd be like, that's really funny. I'm like, no, for real. Like, I'll take off. You guys, you drive up here. I will make it very worth your while. You stay at my house for free. I'll buy food. But you got to film and take photos. So eventually, just besides photography, they would bring up a filmer.
Yeah.
So my friend Ryan Cockrell is like super good. And unfortunately, he stopped filming because of me after all these years, because I took such a bad slam when he was trying to film something long lens that it basically shook him so bad that I ended up in an ambulance. I didn't know where I was. Like, my wife wasn't a wife at the time. She was just my girlfriend. She was, completely stressed out of her mind that I literally woke up in an ambulance. So, but those connections kind of reached into like getting into like the whole sponsorship thing. So it was like super fun. And then Lost Soul.
Because you were creating content, which is so what everyone tries to do now is like, oh, well, I need content for like, even if it's somebody's Instagram that isn't doing anything, they're just creating content. But to create content back then, it was very, not unheard of, but it took, like your parents had to have a camcorder, or you had to have money to buy, which that shit was not cheap.
Yeah.
Or you had to know people who were doing it.
Yeah. And like I said, it's like, so easy. Like you said, you carry a camera with you every single day now. So back then it was like impossible to point and shoot.
Yeah. I remember we would do stuff around town and it would be one of us would have a camera because their parents would allow them to use it. And then that was super risky because if we were kids, that's a, $500-600 camera, which was a lot of money back then. And then if it was like somebody borrowing the camera from school because they were taking like a photography class, but it was very not like, we didn't, I think we maybe got one video together, but you didn't have editing like iMovie. It was just putting clips together, and then maybe someone would be able to put music to it.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, I think like in 2000, I made a video of all my friends doing it with the whole VCRs and playing records like as background noise to try and make it work. Yeah, I was like so stripped down. I didn't know what I was doing. But like I said, those guys helped me out a ton. And then like Lost Soldis came out of nowhere.
Now, were they local to begin with? They were like, what, Bethlehem?
Allentown.
Allentown?
Yeah. So Dan Scott was the original owner, and he picked up a few people before me. And then he was just like, I remember him asking like, hey, I want to develop this brand a little bit more, and I know you can tap into like the local stuff more. So help me develop the team. And at the time, like, I forget what year it was, but I'm so bad about this. I should have made notes. But I wrote for Navigator Trucks, which is like another company out of state. And people are like, why aren't you riding? What, these trucks are stupid. They're curved. They make no sense. I mean, they're literally like, they were shaped like a U. And they had it was supposed to be so they locked in the like pull coping better. But I just street skated with them. I didn't even care. So I was grinding rails with them and stuff. I'm like, oh, these trucks are rad. Like, you just instantly lock in. So I think everyone hated them. I rode them. And once they turned me pro, that's when like Dan was like, hey, I need a pro rider. I want you to be it. So he turned me pro. And I think a year later he was going to sell the brand to some guy in Virginia at some skate shop or something. And I was just like, I'll just buy it. So he's like, seriously, this is a lot of work. And at the time, him and his wife were going through some major trouble. So she tried keeping the brand from me. It was...
Oh, I'm sure that was fun.
Oh, it was awesome. Do you know what's rad? Trying to meet someone at the police station, which you've never been to in your entire life. Locking your stuff in, because he was there for like a stint. Something happened. It's like a domestic thing or whatever. It's in the past. I'm sure they're way better now. But yeah, going to the Allentown prison and having a talk like this with glass in between us, being like, so what should I tell the rest of the team? What's going on? And he's just like, well, I really can't do anything here. And I'm like, well, people need boards. People need products. Like, what is going on? Like, you're in jail. Like, how long are you going to be here? Like, what is going on? And he's just like, well, it's like a DUI type domestic violence thing or whatever. So I shouldn't be in here too long. So I was just like, I guess I'll buy it when you get out. Like, is that how we can do this? Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
So the whole thing was kind of on hold because his wife probably didn't want anything going on as far as the sale of the business, and then he was in jail, so you couldn't even legally get it from him.
Correct.
So then you were just kind of locked out. So how long were you guys? Well, then what did you do? Continue to just keep everything going?
It was somehow, I don't know how we did it, but I would just like, I think it was like much longer until like he got out, and then he was just like, yo, I seriously got to get rid of it. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, we literally have to do this. So I remember selling.
Is that what they were doing for a living at the time, or were they doing it part-time?
I think he was working like another job, and then she was doing a job, but I think his wife had more of a monetary thing in it. I don't remember. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm the pro rider, and he is the owner, but it's just like, I'm not going to intrude in his personal life. Like, that's his. I'll stick with mine, and if I can get you what I'm supposed to do, then I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think like I sold a few records to Double Decker. I sold like one of my favorite 7-inches, Middle Class, Out of Vogue, and then I gave like another couple $100, and I think I bought the brand for like $700.
That was another thing back then, though, is you could sell like CDs and records.
Yeah, and that's like, how I bought it.
Yeah, like that was huge for a while when like CDs were really big. Like, I feel like you can't do stuff like that anymore. Like, just go to the mall and sell your CDs.
Yeah, so I bought it. Yeah, $700. I sold I think a $400 or $500 7-inch that I wanted so bad that I bought like the year before, and then I was like, well, this 7-inch plus a few $100, and then I'll guess I have to get my own EIN, which I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about business. I was just like, I just been doing skate stuff. Like, I don't know anything about.
It's hard to transition into that. I mean, it's kind of like you just have to go into it and then learn from just asking questions, or like when you have to get an accountant.
Yeah.
And then that's when a lot of questions were answered, or like, you know, even still now, I'll talk to Jesse because he ran a business for a while. But like, when you don't know the business side of it and you're super passionate and super creative, it is not the easiest thing to transition into running a business.
No, because you have no idea about being the boss.
No.
And watching some of your friends get so upset when you're just like, yeah, like, I can't give you any more stuff. You haven't done anything. I mean, that's like the hardest thing in the world to say to one of your best friends, being like, yeah, it's just like, you haven't gone to work for like 2 months and you're coming to me being like, I want like all my back pay. Like, no, it's not how it works. Like, I'm working nonstop. Like, you should be doing this too. I mean, you have like goals. And so I remember even like social media photos, I was just doing all this stuff, trying to get these guys. And some dudes were just like freaking out because they're like, this isn't fun anymore. It's like a job. I was like, well, duh. Like, that's what it is. It can be fun if you just do it tastefully. You know what I mean? Like, shoot a photo of you and your boys hanging out and then skate, get a couple tricks. I mean, it doesn't have to be a whole video part every month, but show me something.
I feel like if you don't set guidelines up like that, you end up getting lost in you end up getting lost in what you discussed with them, which might have them being just like, yeah, that's totally cool. And then fast forward 3 months, they're not doing what they said they were going to do, or they only fulfilled half the agreement, and then you've given them a shitload of stuff, and then you're like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Where if you're not upfront like that in the beginning and not being a dick, but if you're not very much like, if you don't run it like a business, it's never going to be a business.
And that's why it's like, for me, I always tell everyone, like, I get told I'm too forward with this yes or no, black or white, like there's no gray.
But see, I see how you are, and I'm like, wow, he cuts out so much bullshit.
But it's like, if I can do it, I know you can do it. Like, I could look at you and be like, yo, I think never again. It's awesome. But you gotta do it this way with this stuff and this stuff to make it work. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, yeah, I'm like, no, for real. Like, you got to act on it now. And that's what I tell the guys now. But then back then, it was brand new. They're just like, well, you're like way loose about this stuff. And I'm like, no, we still got to make videos. Like, I got to try and, I don't want boards to sit in my basement forever. You know what I mean? Like, they're supposed to be out on the shelves. They should be in shops. Let's go do demos. That's what you do for a brand.
Yeah.
Know?
It's not easy. And like I said to you before, like, that was one of the main reasons I wanted to come on and even talk to you, is because you don't stop pushing it. You don't, like, that's in your forefront of just how you're talking that's just how you are. You have to keep pushing the brand. You have to keep doing it. It takes a very specific type of person that even has the energy to deal with people and be like, hey, this, that, and that needs to get done. And then you have to stay on top of them, almost like, you know, like it is an employee.
Yeah.
And you have to take it like a job. And then you have to do all this, plus then do all the social media on top of it. Make sure everybody's on point. Then if you want to do a video, you have to head the whole thing out. You have to take your idea out, put it all on paper. It's not a fucking easy thing to do at all.
No. And like, I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. You know what I mean? I fucking love skating. Like, I've loved it forever. I love punk music. I remember going to shows. I mean, just stage diving off of people to think that like I could still incorporate that kind of stuff. And now finding brands that are like, it's kind of mimicking like certain stuff that we've done. Like, when you see one of your board graphics that's 4 or 5 years old being mimicked in the last 2 years, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of funny. We did that like so long ago.
I caught that on a couple times when I did, and it doesn't happen often, but like I did something and then I saw a bigger brand, and I doubt they saw what I was doing.
No.
But I saw they were doing what I thought of 3 years ago, and I was like, oh, cool, let's keep going. Like, you're definitely going, because it's almost like if you're going out to a giant wave and you have to just keep getting past the other ones coming in, and then eventually you'll be on the crest of something if you continue to keep pushing your creativity to a point. And it might not ever happen, but there is a possibility that you could be at the top and then you're the next thing that everybody wants to do. And that's what the chase is.
You never
But I've
know.
seen brands do stuff with hats similar to what I was, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, I did that flannel last year. Like, I'm in the right direction. Not that I'm in a direction that I'm trying to do something somebody else is doing, but if somebody else is if I already did something that they want to do now, I'm like, cool, let's keep going. And you need that fuel to keep going, because it is very easy to burn out doing this.
Yeah, 100%. And I always say, like, if you put all this effort in, and I'm not trying to be the next coolest brand. It's just, this is what I do. This is like who we are. We like crusty spots. I incorporate everyone being a part of what we're doing. I don't really outsource to a lot of people to do stuff because I hate it. I want to be like in charge and make sure stuff gets done in a timely manner. And then like, if anything, I want to look back like years later and be like, this was fun. Like this was super cool. Because I don't know how long this is going to last.
Do you have kids?
No kids.
Do you ever plan on having kids?
No. My wife and I said no like many years ago.
Yeah.
So
I have a mix. Some of my friends want to have kids, and then I have friends who are like, I don't know if I want to give up the things that we love.
Yeah. But you don't have to. Like, I mean, I've had dogs, which is like, it is like a kid.
I tell people that all the time because it upsets people who
Yeah.
think.
It's nothing like having a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, but like,
It's really nothing like having a kid.
well, I mean, that might be your opinion, but I think like animals are great. And like I said, it's like when you drag them around all the time, I mean, like, you don't have to deal with the society version of like crappy schools or like what your kids go through, because like at least like my dog's in my own house. But I don't know, it's just like we didn't really want to do that, my wife and I, and I basically said like, well, I just want to keep doing this stuff and this is fun, and like I just want you to be a part of this crazy ride. Because I told her that just the last few years, I was like, stuff's gonna get more nuts when like band stuff kicks up, or like after that we'll get into it later, but like the Japanese premiere, like once that happened, I was like, stuff's gonna change for the brand, and like I need to know you're in
It's hard to find somebody who's on board.
Yeah, but it's also like she's brutally honest about stuff too, so I could
But that's what you need.
I need it. I need her to kick some ideas to her, and she'll either say yes or no, and then I go, oh, remember that idea you said I was wearing like a grandmother's coat? Yeah, Independent Trucks just made one. And she's just like, you got to be kidding me. And I show it to her, and she's like, well, that's cool. You did it like 2 years ago. I was like, yeah, it's fun. But like, I don't know. You just do what you love, and it'll never get boring, kind of like.
Is she tied into the business also, or is it?
No.
She's separate.
She doesn't want any part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, which makes it easier. So I only... And like this, to make a brand successful, which I always say to everyone, and I just got asked by some brand from like New York, they were just like, how do you make it work? And I was just like, don't get in credit card debt. Don't overextend yourself. Be unbelievably honest with like how much you can get rid of.
That took not a while, but that's what I wanted to touch on as well, is like you can get really caught up in a numbers game and thinking how much you're going to move, and thinking that everybody's going to like your idea, and thinking that specific shops are going to buy a certain amount. And then once you start doing that hustle, and it can maybe work 1 or 2 times, and then if people don't start buying your stuff from shops, they start cutting back on what they want. So it's like, if you're doing a run of T-shirts, and I still have T-shirts from when I was in Virginia at the beginning of making T-shirts and was working in a screen printing factory because I wanted to understand the back end of the business and where the T-shirts were coming from and how you ordered them and how much money it was to get them, and like really dialing that in. And then there was times where I made T-shirts and I sold like 10, and I did a run of 100. I remember the first time I ever did a run of T-shirts, I did 6 different T-shirts. I did 25 to 50 of each T-shirt, and then my boss was like, hey, this is how much it's going to be. We're going to do it at the cheapest way possible. And I even had a break then, and I did it all and then released it, and then I was like, oh, you did this totally wrong. And I still have T-shirts from that because I ordered way too many. And then I was like, oh, I like, because that was when you could actually sell a lot of stuff on Facebook, and they didn't slow down businesses running off of Facebook because they didn't know what Facebook really was. So there was times when I sold all the Rosie shirts that I did, and I sold out of them. But there was also times when I would drop 5 or 6 T-shirts, and it was just people weren't buying stuff. And then I was like, it took a while until I realized that people buy stuff off of emotion, and I'm not selling a service to anyone. And it's like, it's very hard, and it's hard to swallow and be like, hey, you aren't as big as you might want to be right now, and you shouldn't be ordering all this stuff. And then it took a while to last year or the year before is I just do pre-orders now. I don't buy 50 T-shirts because there's so many people that say, hey, I'll buy that off of you, and they don't.
And they never come through.
I mean, it's getting easier, not easier, but what I'm doing now is a lot easier with me not being stuck with inventory and having to be like, all right, well, I have to get to a convention, or I have to get somewhere, I have to do a pop-up here. And then, like, I'm still trying to get rid of clothing that I ordered way too much shit because I either went to a convention that somebody told me would be a high attendance and wasn't a high attendance, and I ate a pile of shit after spending $1,000 on travel, hotel.
Yep.
So I don't. It's tough, man. It's really I don't know anyone that I hang out with that would have kept doing this after half the shit that I went through trying to keep this alive. And we talked about that on the phone. Is like, it's why I wanted to talk to you, because you're so similar and you don't stop pushing it. If this doesn't work, we go this way and we look at this angle. If this isn't working right now, we go this way and this angle. If we're not moving a lot of t-shirts, we're going to do rings. And then even I asked you about the coffee cups, and you're like, I just wanted to do coffee cups. Yeah. And once you get to that as your core, I feel like that's when things are moving more.
Yeah, it bounces out a little bit better. But like I said, it hasn't been a great road. It goes up and down. I mean, I basically lost probably half my team at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like crying, later 30-year-old crying in his house, being like, what did I do to these guys? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. And then there's like, I have to like question myself, being like, did I really screw up? Did I like say something? No. They're just growing up, and like this was like just a phase for them.
Yeah.
So, and that was really hard for me to deal with until I talked to my friend Aaron, and I was just like, what should I do? And he's just like, well, brands do this. Look at Ed Templeton. He had the same problem. He lost all those guys. Kerry Getz, Bam. They all left at the same time. He had a nervous breakdown. Like, it's heavy, but you have to just learn to like just do it and watch what you spend. Yeah.
How big was the transition of when the guy handed the business over to you that like you had to just now start taking this in the direction of what you wanted to do?
I was a mess, dude. Seriously, I hadn't. I was cold calling shops. I don't even know what like. I was like, I don't even know what to ask for wholesale. Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, dude, what is wholesale? Like, I mean, I'm telling you, I didn't really have like. I just have a high school degree. I
learned a lot of that
business.
from Joe at Amateur and from Chris at Penn State.
Yeah.
That's where I basically learned wholesale and like how to get into shops. And then I took that and got into other shops with that. But then a lot of people want to do consignment.
Yeah. And I said no.
Yeah. Well, no, I did it a couple times and I was like, that's not for me.
No. And I watched how certain things were pushed on consignment level through shops.
Yeah.
Because I would send secret shoppers in and be like, yo, see if they say anything about like. It's like when I worked at the record store for 8 years. It'd be a local band or something, and it was a dope record. You would come in, I'd be like, Michael, don't even waste time here. There's this record in the back. Just buy it, dude. It's local. It's sick. You could probably catch them in like the next month. And you would just go check it out. Well, that's how I thought businesses did it. Well, they're not always that way on consignment. They're always like, oh, it just looks good on our wall because it keeps an open space full.
Yeah.
But then when I come back 4 months later or 3 months later, I'm like, you haven't been able to move 3 boards at like
the other
this
thing
price?
too is like I had when I moved to Virginia and my brother was getting me into contacts down there with the skate scene that he was in, I had shops that would sell out of the stuff and then not pay me. And I'm like, it's consignment. We both got our money. You owe me $100.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that was I had a lot of people owe me a lot of money at one point, which was super stressful. And was probably when things were kind of falling apart, and I was just trying to juggle it all. And I remember I talked to my boss, Troy, at the screen printer, and I told him we got boards made through this guy, Butch. And he owed us like three runs of skateboards because he would double charge our credit card. And the first time he was like, yo, it was an accident, but now you guys have credit, and we'll just run another run once these blow out. So we're like, this sounds shady, but whatever. And then he did it a second time, and I was like, no, dude, like, I'm good. Like, I want the money back. And it turned into this whole thing, and he owed us like $3,000 worth of boards. And what sucked is the boards were the best we were getting at the time. And he was like, I forget the name of the goddamn company, too, and I wish I could trash him. And then my brother was looking into it, and he started looking into their Better Business Bureau, which is what then you learn that that's what you should do.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. But the screen printer guy was like, dude, he's like, don't ever let anybody mess with your money. And then it took 2 years of me calling nonstop every day. I would have him call, and then he would put me on the line with them. And then eventually I annoyed him so much that he goes, look, dude, he goes, if you stop calling, he's like, I'll just run these boards. And they weren't what we asked. He didn't do a top graphic or anything, but I got the product back. And it was the same thing with that shop. I annoyed them. It was $90.
Yeah.
$90. And you sold everything, and you had the $90. It's like, dude, if you can't give me the $90 that you owe me, you shouldn't be running the fucking shop.
Yeah. And that's what I like. It really hurt because like a lot of people that I know or in the skate scene who had, all right, cool, I'm going to open up this shop. I want to do consignment. I'd be like, cool. And then all of a sudden they'd burn me. And I'd be like,
yeah,
dude, what happened? Oh, and then you want to come. Oh, I want to come to Allentown. You want to show me around? I'm like, yeah, I want to show you to an ATM. That's what I want to show you to. I'm going to show you to an ATM, and I want you to give me the cash you owe me for those boards I sent you. Because I just didn't send you boards. I sent you shirts.
Yeah.
Sent you koozies. I sent all this extra stuff that was like an incentive to unload your stuff. So.
Yeah. I was even like doing invoices back then and like learning how to do that. And like, I was excited to be doing that and being like, I'm putting my logo up on like the invoice. And I'm like, it was professionally fucking done. And then to get fucked on the back end by somebody who doesn't have their shit together when you're just trying to make ends meet so you can make another shirt because it's the creative outlet. And that's what I learned about the whole thing. Like, if I wouldn't have started that t-shirt company, none of this would exist. But I learned how to take that creativity and put it into something and put it on a t-shirt and take an idea out of my head. And like, to me, like, after all the bullshit that went on and stopping this and starting it and like the clothing and it being all over the place, it's like that was priceless to get out of that.
Yeah.
You don't learn that really doing anything else.
No, so like back to the beginning, it was just like super overhaul though. I was just like, I have so much to learn about this stuff and like I don't even know how to run a website. Like, how do you even do that? Like, I was just, I was a nervous wreck. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're trying to keep your regular job and then you're trying to work a second job. Lost Soul's like a third job. And then you have, back then I was doing 2 bands, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, oh my God, I am like living off of an hour and a half of sleep a day. I'm like a mess. But it's so exciting because it just keeps going. So yeah, it was a little bit of an overhaul, but now it's smoothed down a lot for sure, which was like in the long run of running a, like I said, during our Magic Camera premiere a few years ago, thank you for supporting a failing business for 11 years. You know what I mean? Like, thank you. Like, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up and watching me lose money even today.
Yeah, I think I can count like the amount of times where I was like, profit on one hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's, well, because then you don't realize, like, you got to pay the designer and then all this other stuff. And you're just like, this is so much. I can just do it myself. So I used to screen print my stuff myself. And then if the writers want, I was like, it's not shitty, but I would be like, yo, if you guys want shirts from me, like AC Moore has a sale on shirts. Go buy some blank ones. Come over. Help me print the ones that we're going to sell for the business. And then I'll show you how you can help print yours. And we could do it together. It'd be really fun. And then they're like, some of them would. And then someone would be like, well, I don't want to do any work. I'm like, well, like, don't you want to learn how to, I mean, like, we get to hang out. I'll probably make a pizza or something. Like, oh, no. So I'd be like, well, then I'll give you, like, one shirt. But, like, you're going to want, like, more down the line. Like, I'm not going to give you tons. Look how much you want. We don't, it's not a profitable business, you know, so. It basically every year just turned into like I just make enough to buy the next board line and then maybe 1 or 2 t-shirts.
That's all I was hustling for, to get the next
year,
the next time, the next design, the next thing, and then it's tough. And then you start having to like every year. It's like, okay, well, how are we going to organize this a little bit better? How are we going to do things a little bit better this year? And it's like the time it actually takes to stop doing things that you did before and then dealing with other people that ride for you and doing all it's such a tangled mess at times.
Yeah.
But I definitely think the little moments that like pay off when, like, I still remember when I gave guys that ride for us their first board and how excited they were and were like, hell yeah. Or like when I would make stuff and I was still asking people their opinion on what it mattered. And there was like my small core group of friends where I'd show them what I made and like, all that stuff made it worth it. It always made it worth
totally
taking the piles of shit and getting screwed over and them listening to you bitch about what shop fucked you over. And I don't know. It's such a love and hate relationship, but the little moments definitely stick out. It takes a little bit to reflect on the terrible stuff because I try and just keep doing different stuff every year, but I don't know. It got rocky at a time. Was it ever at a time when it was just you? Like a midpoint where like people are dying off and then you're just like, okay, like we got to do this.
Well,
like
I
need more.
Like I said, when I lost all those riders, I lost the main filmer and photographer left, and then 2 of the other guys just left, and the other one, I had another one that was just like not really doing his part. So I was just like, it's just me and Irving, which is like a kid from South Carolina, which I was just like now has blossomed into one of the. I mean, he's one of the raddest skaters, and I'm so proud of, like, watching him grow from, like, 13 to, like, God, dude, he's, like, so sick now. But then, with just the 2 of us, I was having, complete nervous breakdown. I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I've had to, like, let go of some friends a few years before. Then all my other friends just basically bounced. So, yeah, it was really rocky right around there. But I was like, well, it'll all come around, right? And I talked to Andy from Home Base, and he's just like, I just think if you keep doing it, it'll eventually turn back around. And it did, but it took like a couple of years of me like really trying to find some people that like had like a good work ethic, like to do projects, and wanted to go skate and film.
Is it harder to find kids now because they can showcase themselves as opposed to needing somebody to like put themselves out there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even get that many sponsor me tapes. I get a lot of like really dumb DMs, which are like on Instagram, like, hey, check out my sponsor me tape. And I'm like, awesome, cool. You're not rocking one thing of mine. And I've been watching this video for like 3 minutes and it's okay. Like, I don't know. Like, I've only been offered a few times where some of these dudes were super good, but I was just like, yeah, I can't give you like 5 boards a month. Like, that's like Element or like, I don't even know, like Toy Machine or someone huge can do that, but like we don't do that here. And they're like, well, I remember answering this email and they're like, well, I'm going to call you. So I'm talking to him and he's just like, well, how often do you change your board? I go, yeah, I ride mine for like 3-4 months. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, like it's bad. Like you should ride it forever. I mean, I don't skate as big a stuff as probably you do, but like, you got to like watch where it goes. But like I said, it's super rocky back then. Now it's like I said, it's way different. Social media has definitely helped out and also made stuff weird at the same time, where like some kids are just so about themselves on Instagram because they have like 1 trillion followers, but they either bought them or...
It's so weird when people buy stuff and then you look at like what their likes or like what their views should be, and it's like, well, how do you have a following of 50,000 people and then you only have 42 likes on a photo? Like, just mathematically, we're not looking at what it should actually be.
My favorite is my favorite recently is watching riders. The rider has 35 to 50 thousand followers, but it's really odd when you go to the brand that he rides for and they only have like 1,500. So I'm like, huh, that doesn't sound right. You figure if they're gonna support that kid, they're gonna support the brand. Well, where do you transfer 35 to 50,000 followers for one thing, and then the brand that is supposed to be pushing you only has like 1,500? So I was just like, I figured out that scheme, and I was like, I told people, I'm like, I absolutely am not buying followers. Like,
no,
I won't.
I would never do it, and no. I've always told him we wouldn't be able to gauge what we're doing.
No.
Like, if we paid for listens, I would never know what to change with this show or what's working with this show because I gauge everything by that. Like, if I say that I got 10,000 or 10,000 listens to a show, I would never know what my content was. I would never know the reaction to the content.
Yeah, and a lot of people like I keep like really old business tactics. Like I'm still like I'll go visit you or I'll go visit the shop and just introduce myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even say I own a business. I just want to check out the shop because it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that you probably got from Japan and like living on your own and doing all that stuff. And like when I lived in Virginia, which is not similar to Japan at all, but none of my friends were there. And I had to start learning how to interact solely on my own. And like being by myself changed so much with how I interact. And like there's some people who would get uncomfortable in walking in somewhere and acting like that. But I think like, I don't know, like you can definitely see how even hearing your backstory and how you skate now and how everything has completely like shaped you into like how you act as a person now.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just kept the things I love the most close and try not to burn too many bridges. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to burn some because I've been told I'm way too stern or just way too honest with some people. Like this, I mean, I remember dudes coming up to me straight up just being like, oh, I want to rock your brand. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of seen you. It'd be cool, but do you have this kind of work ethic? Because like you had a in with a way bigger brand and you kind of, I mean, they were coming to town very often and I didn't see you after like you gave up after so much time where like you were chilling with the owner and like chilling with some of the guys on the team. Like, well, what's gonna that work ethic? How's that gonna transpire towards me? Well, you can't tell me. I'm like, I'm just pointing it out. Like, you got to be honest with yourself. Like, I'm honest that I don't have a lucrative business. Like, it's like a band to me. Lost Soul is a band. Like, we like to make music. We like to put out records, basically, or put out videos. You know what I mean? And it's that thrill that you get from doing it. It just makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, even when we put out podcasts, sometimes it's me and him.
Yeah,
and like we'll be laughing our asses off, and I'm like, yeah, that was really funny. Like, but there's a little bit of like when he's done recording it, and I still remember when we were first putting them out when we were in Bethlehem, and like you'd get a little rush and be like, yeah, it was a good show, and then like, all right, it's done, and we're just like hashtagging and putting the stuff out there, and I'm driving back from the studio because I lived in Nazareth at the time, and you're listening to the show we just recorded, and I'm like, it was a rush.
Yeah,
it was. I don't do it because I'm like, hey, this is going to pay the bills. I tell everybody, like, I am just trying to get enough sponsors to pay the rent here, and that is it.
Yeah.
I've always been brutally honest with this business. Even when I started it in a bar and everyone was like, this is so cool what you're doing, and I'm just like, you just never saw anybody try and do this because we're in a small town. Like, yeah. I never once... I mean, I'm not the type of person to take credit or like want to be like, yeah, this is so cool that I do this. I don't tell people I do this. So like, like I don't like I was out to eat and somebody was like, hey, I really like the sweatshirt, the new sweatshirts we did. And I said, thank you. And then my buddy's like, oh, well, that's his business and his radio show. And the lady's like, oh, well, that's all about, what's that all about? And I just looked at her and go, stuff.
Yeah.
And then she walked away and he goes,
some stuff
way
and
to sell it.
Stuff and things.
Yeah, first of all, that 65-year-old woman is not listening to the podcast.
And that's the thing. She's not going to listen to one show or any of them just go, boy, this is interesting. It's not really your...
But it was never, it was never for that. Like I said before, this is what I wanted to get into with music is like, once I found out that all of this was driven by being creative, and a lot of that was pointed out when the years of working with Rizart, where we would text back and forth, and like I was like, oh, we'll change this, and he'd immediately send it back, and I was just getting this rush off of like him creating what the fuck was in my head, and it was like a lot of that. Like I started realizing, I was like, oh, you're doing this because you're like a pent up fucking dog that doesn't know how to creatively get this shit out, and then now you're figuring this out and you're channeling it for the first time. So what my question is like, did you start doing the band because you were getting tired of Lost Souls and then you needed a second outlet, or did you have so much energy you needed to run two things at the same time?
Well, it just like Carpenter Ant was like from 2000 to 2007, and that was just a band that I was like, I just want to play punk music and let's just make it about skating. And everyone's just like, what? Really? I'm like, yeah, like it's going to talk about whatever, and then play a few shows, find a few people are into it, and then I'm like, well, why don't we make it like really like just the fastest 25 minutes ever and have a blast, and we play it again, do it again next month, or do it some other time. So
But how are you balancing starting that band? Because you basically were probably taking the same work ethic and the idea behind the brand, but now you're putting it into an actual band. Is that how you were doing it?
Well, it was just like, it's so hard to say. Like, you just balance out everything you can, and it's like you got to be like real with yourself. But it's also like there was times where like I just want to do records, and I just wanted my friends to be like, "Yo, let's just get these moments together." Oh, someone wants to put out this record. All we have to do is just go to the studio and pay a few $100s to do this recording live. We ship it, we send it to them, send them a CD, and then we'll have a record. Like, let's just do this. So, but Carpenter Rant was all about skating. So what I would do is like, I'd have a skateboard helmet on. I'd have a small skateboard with a mic attached to it, and
like the Nash skateboards.
Yeah, like a super old banana board, and it's like we'd go completely crazy. And then I used to bring old boards, like I'd spray paint stencil them, throw them out in the crowd, like people would go crazy. And then for a long time, I used to do. I always love when people can get something from something that you can grab from it. It's beside a lyric or like a flyer from a show. So I was like, you know what? Everyone always throws away old wheels. So I'm going to take these old wheels. I'm going to make a stencil, spray paint them, stencil them. And while we play, I'm going to hurl wheels at people fucking really hard.
Oh my God.
And throw them at people or bounce them off the ground. So shit just goes crazy. And I want intention. Like when you see a band,
were you doing this at like Scarlett's?
No,
Scarlett
this is way
O'Hara's
after.
in
This is way
Bethlehem?
after that. Yeah, this is way after that.
Scarlett's closed like
Yeah.
I remember going there once to see like
They-
Josh Martin's band or whatever. It was like the Elated or
96.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I remember the guy who
back
owned
then.
it was like checking tickets. He just goes, "What do you think if I get Aerosmith here?" I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about anything like them, but I definitely knew he was not getting Aerosmith
Yeah, it definitely
to
wasn't
play
getting
there.
Aerosmith there. No
I
way.
we used to go there and see the Ramones. The Ramones used to come there like once or twice a year.
Oh,
Used to come
wow.
to Scarlett's.
Yeah, it was a good
That's
venue. I
crazy.
mean, we went there during high school from like '92 to '94,
Yeah.
seeing bands for sure.
Yeah.
Like
But-
the Weed Whackers, and I don't know. I hung out with Josh Martin and Randy and all those guys, so they were always constantly in bands. So then, we just tagged along. It was
Yeah.
cool. I mean, like I'm sure there was people who were like tagging along to what you guys were doing.
Oh, my God.
such a good time. There's a time in my life where I remember going to band practice. I didn't play any instruments, but it was so cool to just be around my friends who were making music.
Yeah.
And they still make music.
Yeah, throwing those wheels in those venues like the Pirates Cove or like some.
You
certain...
could definitely get away with that now and wouldn't get sued.
Yeah. Well, no. I probably. I mean, I used to be like terrible. Like
Yeah.
I would just.
You'd end
but-
up on some Instagram feed.
Oh, I'd be on it. Yeah, there'd be a like warrant out for my arrest probably
Yeah.
because I would pelt people with stuff, and they'd come up to me at the end of the show, and they'd be like, "You hit me with this wheel," and I was like, "This. Well, did you have a good time?" And they're like, "Yeah." Besides that, I go, "Well, now you have a memory. Like you're never gonna forget this show that I hit you with an old wheel. Do you have a wheel?" And they'd be like, "No, I don't even know where it went." I went,
How many would you bring to a show?
oh my God, like 30.
Oh my God.
I would just grab sets of wheels from people.
Those four aboard, so
Yeah.
But I would just hurl them at people, or like I just wanted a memory because I liked going to shows when I was a kid when I was scared. Because I remember Henry Rollins said this many, many years ago, and he said when he used to go to shows, his favorite ones are the ones where he was terrified.
I remember that. Most of the shows I went to when I was younger, I was definitely
Yeah.
afraid. It's not like that now.
No,
But,
but it's
back then it was that was what you remembered because you were so nervous.
Yeah, and I was like, I want that memory for people, and I still have. Oh my God, I went to a wedding not even a year or two ago, and I was sitting at this table.
See this chipped tooth.
No, I'm sitting at this table, and this girl just looks at me, and she just goes, "Oh, Ray from Carpenter Rant." And I was like this. Look at my wife, and I go, "Did you just say that?" And then someone goes, "Yeah, you hit my stepsister in the head with a wheel at this show at the Pirates Cove." And I was like, "Oh, is she mad at me still?" And she goes, "Not really, but do you have any more of those wheels left?" I'm like, "No, I didn't save any of those. I think I saved one after all those years." But I just like, it's like, you just want to keep doing stuff. And if
You
you
seem
don't,
to like your plate full.
yeah,
That's how I am.
And if you don't, then you're just like twiddling your thumbs, and you're like, "What's next? What's the next project?" Or like, "This can all end tomorrow." Like we don't, you're not promised tomorrow. So I'm just like, I remind all the guys, my bandmates, I'm like, it's now or never with me. I'll respect your choices and what you want to do. Like if you want to leave the band, which some have, or or like skating. They're like, this is not really my thing anymore. Okay, well, thanks, but like I can't stop. Like I've always told people, like I'm never gonna stop skating, even if it's just like hitting a curb or like doing something. Which I still skate pretty actively, skating bigger stuff. But I'm just like, you just can't stop. You just don't stop doing what you love. I don't know. This makes the most sense to me.
No, I mean, that's the driving force behind anything that I've ever done with any of this. I mean, I was so lost when I even started doing any of this stuff. And like, I grew up from running this business. Like, I've changed so much from this business. I met so many people. I've definitely had downtimes with this business, but like with starting the podcast and then us just doing everything with that, and then being able to like rebrand the clothing and have a new direction to even like, it's fun taking stuff that's in your head and being like, this can all work, and then lining it all up and then seeing it work.
Yeah.
Even if it's for a fucking 30 seconds, I did it for 30 fucking seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
No, go right
I was going to say, because you seem like everything you do, you take very seriously. So like when Carpenter Ant ended, what did you step into next as far as music?
I met these. Okay, so my friend was tattooing at Foundation Tattoo in Allentown. Him and this other guy were playing music together, and I heard it was really funny. It was called Weed Priest, and I was just like, "Wow, that name's weird and crazy." But what are you guys doing? They're like, "Well, we're thinking about like playing like we've been messing around with stoner rock music," and I was like, "Oh, what's this? Like, I don't know about this genre. I only know about like punk stuff." And then they were like, "Well, what kind of music do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I just want to fucking play something heavy, like heavy feedback, obnoxious, like almost like very rhythmic, like." And then we had one practice, and I was like, I don't even have like, I have a bass, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, you want to do it now?
Yeah, and, have you always played music? Like,
yeah.
How hard was it for you to pick up? Was it something that just clicked?
No, I was awful. I didn't know what I was doing. So we started jamming, and then eventually we came up with the name Tile, and I booked our first show after just like 3 weeks of practice. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, "Oh, this is sick. Let's just do it." So we played, and then I was like, "Oh man, it feels cool to like sing and play at the same time. Even though I'm really bad at it, it's fun as hell." So 2006 is when Tile started, and then like Carpenter ended in 2007, and then we kind of moved into, all right, let's make this a little bit more serious. And then, people were like, well, do you want to like play these shows like so some other like really big bands? I'm like, yeah, what do I have to lose? Like, I kind of know how to run it, be like a good front man, you know? Like, it takes a certain personality, I think, to really be a good front man. And I was just like, well, I really enjoy it, so let's just see what happens. And then Tile this turned into like, people started asking more questions, and then so-and-so was like, do you want to do a record with us? And I'd be like, wow, someone from like Massachusetts, like Boston area wants to do a record with us? What the fuck is going on? Like, you find us that interesting? You want to waste like $800 to $1,000 on like a 7-inch? Okay. So Limited Appeal came out of nowhere, found us online, and then sent me like, I remember reading an email being like, I can't believe this is real. Like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. I don't care. Like, we'll do a 7-inch with you. And they came and saw you, and then they were like, whoa, this scene's pretty rad. Do you want to keep doing stuff together? And now they're like our best friends. Like, we text each other every so often. So Tile took off then after that.
What genre would you say that Tile is?
Like noise rock, I think.
Yeah.
Like, there's some stoner rock stuff. Like,
there is, like, a lot of it. Well, in the middle of the album, because it's on Bandcamp, it's, what is it, Tile Noise?
Yep.
At Bandcamp or whatever. And then what's .bandcamp?
Yeah,
not whatever.
Yeah,
the actual address.
Tile Noise at whatever.
Yeah, you fucking find it.
Whatever.
Yeah, go ahead, find it. Yeah.
But it seemed like towards the middle, it started being like real slowed down style stuff, and it seemed like more of the stoner rock stuff was like in the middle there. But when I listened to it, I was like, damn, this is like the stuff that I used to listen to when I was skating when I was like in high school. Like, I don't know, it really brought me back to. It was cool because there was a point when I got older and I just stopped listening to loud music. It was just the one day I was in my car and I was just angry and stressed, and I was just like, what are you doing? And I dabble in it back and forth, but back then I was like listening to it all the time. But it was a nice trip down memory lane when I was just like, oh, like I remember like this is like what we'd skate to at the Nazareth Park, and I remember I had a bomber jacket, and like it really brought back my entire childhood of listening to like hardcore and punk music, and
That's
it
cool.
was cool. I listened to the whole thing, and I even wrote down where is it? I probably can't even fucking read it. Landmines, like right around there, like that was where I was like really getting into like a lot of I don't know. It was just there was a couple tracks that it was Landmines and fuck, I can't read my terrible writing. The first track, what's the name of that one?
God, there's I'm
Some Play Safe or something.
Oh,
and then,
Play Safe on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of stuff I liked a lot of it, and then I liked how it kind of transitioned where it slowed down, and then it seemed like different stuff, but it was good. I didn't know what to expect because like I've heard that you were in the band and stuff like that, and then it's just like I'm not into that style of music. I am, but it's buried.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I get into different stuff, and then it's hard to find genres of it. But it made me want to start digging into music like that again.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I basically just Tile was just like heavy music. It definitely was like way more early rhythmic, like trying to be like this crazy early floor feedback, really grungy, dirty stuff. And with this new record, we really tried a little bit harder, like try to make things a little bit smoother. But it also, we didn't have a record for like 4 years, so people were like, "Yo, what the hell's going on with this band?" I'm like, "Oh, we're still playing, we're still practicing, writing songs." Is this like
it's easy to get a record together?
Yeah. Well,
you have to have songs that you have to pay. It's not like you just do the shit for free.
Yeah, no, you got to like find time to do it.
Did you guys have? Coffee's fucking my throat up. Yeah. Well, I ran today, and it's the first time I've ran in a while, and it actually blew my lungs out, and I'm realizing how bad my asthma really is.
Okay.
But yeah, my throat's been fucked up. But did you guys like press CDs and stuff?
No.
Or did you just do
just vinyl?
Yeah.
The record label wanted to do, well, it was supposed to come out.
I feel like that's the way to do it anymore. I don't even remember the last concerts I was at where they were selling cassette tapes and vinyl. They weren't even pushing CDs.
Yeah, it's not really a thing anymore. I mean, I think they might come back, but we were supposed to do a 7-inch with this label 2 years before. I was supposed to showcase some of these tracks. It was I didn't say it was like a genius word greatest music. I was like, okay, cool. We'll do a 7-inch with this label, and then it'll come out 2 years before, but it's like 2 tracks from the record. So then we only have to write like 10. You know what I mean? Like I started doing that math. And then the label wasn't answering phone calls, dodging my emails until finally like some Sunday I was just like, I have had enough. I'm losing my mind here because you're not this. Call me back and be straightforward with me. And he basically was like, I just can't do your record. So I was like, okay. So
thanks for not telling me that 6 months ago.
So I reached out to Limit Appeal again, and I was just like, hey guys, like, would you be? And then before I could even finish the sentence, they were just like, are you kidding me? In a heartbeat. And I was just like, really? And they're like, we were a little upset that you wanted to go through someone else to try, because I was just going to try and look for a bigger label to try and get out there more.
Yeah.
Where Limited Appeal's like,
it's tough to get past. Like I try and explain to everybody with even doing the podcast, like it's difficult when you see something working, but then it's even more difficult to get out past the crest of things, to get out there past the social media thing. It's not easy to do.
Yeah. So Limited Appeal put it out, and then like I told, I have 2 mics in my band. It's Michael Marican and Michael Dumoff, but we always call Tile Mike and Mikey. Mikey's the drummer. But I told those guys, I was like, yo, they want to do this for us. Let's just do it. Like, we'll put out a good record, and I'm not worried about it at all. You know what's my favorite is, like, if you just make music that you are naturally good to do, no one's going to really, like, be like, oh, they blew it. Like, they're trying to outdo themselves. What draws me to liking a band's record each and every time is because they don't stray from their roots, and they continually push stuff where like the recording might be better, but they're still sticking to like their sound, and that's why I like them. And then I become like the super fan where I like want everything. I want the whole back catalog. I want the shirts. Like they'll drive and play a show out of town, and you will drive there to go see them. Like that's the kind of band I wanted to be. So I was just like, well, let's just do it and let's have fun. So picked out a new studio that we haven't tried before, that Mikey was really familiar with, and we just recorded it. And some of those songs, like, I think we wrote, like, literally within, like, the last few weeks before we even went into the studio, because I was like, I want more songs for a record. I don't want, like, a 9-song record. I want, like, 12. You know what I mean? So we're just like, what? You have to, like, I'm like, yeah, we can do it. Like, grown men, like, sit home, write some riffs, and we'll figure it out.
It's got to be easier when you get older, too, because the mental
Yeah.
starts kicking in a little bit better. The gears start working a little bit. You start breaking it down a little bit more. Like, yeah, man, let's just write music. We've been writing music for 5 years.
I look at him, I'm like, I'm not changing what we do. So I want those doomer songs because I think, like, I hate seeing bands play and, like, they're not passionate about it. It's like a pet peeve of mine so bad where I'm just like, you literally look like you're up here playing covers and you're just waiting to get your check at the end of the night. That sucks. Like, that sucks so hard for me. So I was just like, I tell my guys in the band, and I've been saying it forever in every project, you will play like it's the last show ever. And we all look at each other, and I go, so bring it. And last year when we went on tour, it's like, I booked a tour. I haven't booked a tour in forever. You know what I mean? So I booked a tour all the way out to Milwaukee and back from Pennsylvania.
That's cool.
It was cool.
Would you guys take a van?
Yeah, I rented a minivan, and I was just like, let's just see what happens, you know, and it'll work. Everything always works out. Like, I don't just go with the flow of things, you know. It'll all work. So we did it, and we did tour in 9 days, and we traveled the U.S., and we made enough money to pay for the van rental. We had free places to stay. We didn't stay in hotels, and it was a great 9-day vacation with your bros when you're just playing music. So I don't know. It's just like you should do that kind of stuff. It makes it fun. So this will be 13 years coming that's
crazy
this year, and like 13 years for a band is insane.
Yeah,
it's like super long, but it's just like we really don't hang out with each other outside of the band, which is great because we all have lives, we all have jobs. I think if you smother each other, it's like a total failure of a band. Like if you're just constantly next to each other, like breathing down each other's necks all the time.
Yeah, he lives down the street, but I mean, we'll get together to watch fights, but I mean, we talk a lot on the phone, but I also respect the fact that he's married and have kids, and if I would make him come over here all the time, or he would come over
all the time.
If he would come over all the times, I'm like, yo, come down, his wife would look at it as like, well, what the fuck are you doing over there? Like, half the reason I wanted to move here was to be a foot from his house, just to make it easier on him, and I never wanted it to be a burden on his family.
Yeah.
But if like we hung out all the time, that definitely could have been like, hey, I'm not coming over anymore. Like we've been fighting.
Well, we've been last year.
Said some shit.
I hit her.
Last year we did get asked about that. They're like, "What? How can you make a band so successful for 12 years?" And I literally like multiple times said, "Don't hang out with your bandmates outside of band practice." And they're like, "What?" I go, well, you can hang out at like a show or something, but like do other stuff. So I want like tile time to be special. So it's like I come to practice like juiced, so excited. Like we got releases to work on, we got projects. And if you continually make projects like or goals, it's cool. Like you have something to work forward to instead of just sitting in a room and continuing to write songs for no release, that it's kind of like a waste of time, you know what I mean? Like, so.
And I feel like if you take a band seriously and you do it for as long as you guys do, why wouldn't you do a tour?
Yeah.
And go. And I mean, as big as the band is or isn't, you went on tour and you got to travel and feel what it's like to be a band that does that, where most people look at it and they're like, oh, that'd be cool to do that.
Well, those guys in Tile never really did do a tour before.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is how it works. I get all the money. I'm the one who's in charge. I'm doing the van rental. Like, I'll be the contacts if you can help me here and there on certain dates. Like, it's almost like running a brand. So you're just like, I am so driven. But I was just like I said, we go to a show. We played in Milwaukee at this fest, and that was like our moment of all right, let's just see what happens, because we just hopped on this show. And I looked at the guys and they looked a little nervous, and I was nervous too, but I was like, fucking bring it. Like, this room just filled up, and we're not the headlining act. So let's just show them what we can do. Like, just play our jams, act normal, do your thing. So, like, we got a really good feel from it, and we're going back this year. They're having the fest again in June, so it's triple.
So we go just for the fest, or will you do a mini tour?
I think we're doing Wednesday. We're gonna do a June 5 through June 9. So it's just like 5 days or whatever, or June, yeah, something like that. It's a Wednesday through Sunday. This other band asked us to do some stuff, but we're doing like Chicago. Definitely doing Chicago. Definitely doing Milwaukee, Detroit, or Hazel Park. Hazel Park, Detroit, which is like really close to the 8 Mile, which is crazy. It's like we were looking for Eminem, we couldn't find him, and then
he definitely moved out of there.
we were like, yo, where is he? Where's the 8 Mile? But and then maybe like one in like Pittsburgh or something on Sunday, and then go back to work Monday. So I don't know. It's just like you got to seize these moments. You make good music. Our friend Kenny, who met us at one of our shows last year, offered to put out a record. He's like, I want to do this record with you next year. Do you guys think you could do it? And I was like, I think so. And then twice in January, he called me. He's just like, I'm very serious about this. Like, I'm trying to plan out my whole year. And like, do you think you can give me 5-6 tracks? And I was like, yeah, it doesn't take us long to write stuff. Like, we're not crazy math people. It's like not math rock or anything. I mean, like, I'm terrible at playing bass. Like, I can keep a rhythm. I know stuff. But when I first started, I was just self-taught. But I refuse to do... It's like skating. It's just like, I refuse to do what everyone else is doing. I'm just going to go off a launch ramp my way. And I don't care what anyone else thinks because it's fun to me. So that's how I treat the band. Like, I just skate the way I want. I play music the way I want. And I'm like...
I feel like a lot of people don't ever take that risk. And like, I knew you from way back in the day, but like our paths would cross, but we never interacted like we were last year and this year. And I said it to Reppy too, as I was like, man, I was like, after all these years, I said, Ray is exactly the same. But there's a lot of people that will put on a shtick or dress a certain way. But I was just like, I go, how badass is it that he's just, that's him.
Oh, that's a great compliment. Thanks. And I like I said, vice versa. It's, you run your own brand and it looks smooth, and I see how you handle yourself as a person. I'm like, it's awesome. So I just like, I feel like that's what you got to do. You know, you just, make it work. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason sometimes. And also, like, band stuff too, certain songs are about certain family members, and it's like either fatalities or watching them suffer in the hospital. Like, it can draw out certain emotions in songs where, like, you go see a band at a show and they absolutely look like they're so not interested. Where, like, I'm playing bass and I look like I'm trying to bend my bass in half. I'm trying to pull all my strings off the neck because I'm singing about my aunt who is passing away in the hospital. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I want you to feel what I'm feeling because this is my way of, like, releasing.
Yeah.
And, like, when you're done, I'm just like, whew, all right, cool. Like, all right, now I can just hang out. It's like a therapy session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always feel like this is therapeutic. I don't know how he feels when we're done, but I always feel like when we're done, it's like, I don't know. Because there's always such a buildup. Like, even with this today, like, I just have had a lot of anxiety lately. And, like, I was like, I need to go for a fucking run. I was like, because if I don't go for a run, the buildup to this is just, I'm going to be off.
Yeah.
And then, like, I came down a fucking level. But usually when these are over, like, because I've thought how the interview is going to go, how it's going to look on video, how the questions are going to go, where's the, you know, we got to have this, that, and that. And then it's just like, and then it's like Jesse will come in and relieve a little bit of that pressure on me. But it's like, there's a lot that is all mental. And then when it's over, I'm just like, huh.
Yeah.
And then you got to start all over again.
Yeah. And it takes a lot to
because like as soon as it's over, I'll say to him, I was like, well, the guest went well.
Yeah.
So we should probably do another guest right away. But doing a guest is totally different than me and him sitting here fucking around.
Don't
think so. 100%. Well, you got to do your research.
Yeah.
You got to like really dig deep. If you want a listener to listen, it can't be the same stuff. It can't be the same questions. Like,
well, that's also why we stopped
and I think
doing.
we got into a lull because we were doing interview after interview.
It was business.
And they were interesting people.
Yeah,
but it was the same questions. It was the same. Oh, okay. Well, when did you start your business? Okay, when you get into that. And some people would be honest and open, and you would get a really great interview.
Yeah.
But then some people were guarded or didn't get what we were trying to do until it was
a couple
over.
of those are just one-word answers like.
Yeah,
Dude,
and you're like, that's all you got?
Dude, we brought these people in the one time, and then I didn't know till like halfway through the interview that it was like a pyramid scheme diet, and like I thought these people had like created this thing on their own, and then I was just like, oh my god, this is like some shit that you're bothered the rest of your life about. Like, come join me.
Yeah.
Because if I get you and you and you, then I'm at this tier and I make more money. And I'm like, I didn't think this was it at all. But I mean, I was the dumbass that thought these people came up with this like idea.
No, it's not even that. It's just it's a business that you can get into, and they're both retired people, so they're taking it seriously, and this is like their new income. But they tried to get him to do like dieting and like. And then they call him up and go, we need you to come and do a weigh-in. And he's like, fuck you.
I was like, what?
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take your shit, and I'll do it, like, on my own because I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Don't treat me like a child. Like, I'm not going to show up and get weighed in and then get yelled
But, I mean,
at.
but they were doing what they were trained to.
They yelled at it when we were doing the promos.
Yeah, they didn't like the way we did the promos.
Script.
They gave us a script then.
Because our promos would just go off and we'd start telling dick jokes.
And then once we got,
like that.
but see, that's the thing is I was trying to explain to them, we were being ourselves. Yeah. And so I wasn't selling the product. I was doing it and I was losing weight. So I had people contact me.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell them that. And then they're like, nope, this is what we want. So then so then it was, you know, the part of me that never dies where I was like, cool, you want it done this way? Hey, Jesse.
Oh, yeah. It was weird.
Yeah, that's when it becomes...
And then it was awkward.
Yeah,
because I feel, and even the other stuff we did, like even the cryo place, people would message me privately and be like, are you just fucking around? Or like, do you seriously do that? And I go, no, I'm being honest.
Yeah, because,
like,
I mean, I take everything we do seriously. I'm, you know, like I said, it's like when somebody pays... One, I would never pay for listeners or anything because when somebody pays for that and I can't give them the reach that they think I'm getting, I would never do that. So it's like when we did the cryo, Jesse signed up for what would you do, like 3 months?
Yeah. Oh, no. It was, a month and a half, maybe 2 months. I had my mom sign up too, but I went every fucking day because I was like, I want to give an honest, like if somebody says like, hey, how does it really work? I want every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like I want to tell, like I want way more than you're going to go. And I proved it, but all that stuff you have to do it. But yeah, I can't believe they gave us a script that time. That was so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, that would have been really weird.
It was so fucking uncomfortable, and it was such a bad script. If it was like a joking around thing, but that's not how. That's not how I want to listen to shit.
Yeah,
I don't want somebody reading from a fucking script.
Yeah, I've never bought anything that way.
Never.
No.
If you have like all this going on with Tile, and where does that leave Lost Souls? Because what you're doing now is doing a push for a video.
Yeah, so it just, to me, it's like another band. Like I'm just doing another release. So
you're just like seesawing.
Yeah, well, I try and keep them in a happy medium.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it's just like Tile has gotten a little bit more serious in the last few years, but only because like I just want output. Like we hired a PR person last year, where like we used to never do that. And
does that work though?
It actually worked amazingly for like downloads.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So you would not think it would work because you're like, it's probably like some gimmick or whatever. But
they're going to take in like 50 other people and say, yeah.
But for us, it's just like, okay, we're from Allentown, Pennsylvania. We're not well known. People know of us. We're basically known as like an obscure heavy noise rock band from Pennsylvania. And that's all we're known for. So getting this PR person doing PR photos, like doing this stuff, and then I was like, well, how the hell are we going to afford this? This is like pretty decent amount of cash. And I was like, wait, we've been getting money from Bandcamp for how long? Have you gone in there at all? So I asking my bandmates to argue over this money, and they're like, oh, we've never used any of that money. So I was like, well, what's in the account? And they're like, oh, like $500. I go, that just paid for our PR. Yeah, cool. So let's just try it. So it got us out to reviewed in different online magazines, and exposure-wise, it worked out pretty good. And also, if you like, one of our friends who was a past member was a really decent photographer. He took the PR photos, and our other friend would take great live action photos. So I was just like, yo, if I can submit these, we'll see what happens. I think we have a great record. And it actually worked out like last year. Yeah. Like a lot of people actually came out to see us, which is strange because like Milwaukee Fest, like I said, it was like our ultimate thing that we did. But like some kid drove 6 hours to see us for 30 minutes. And like I went over to him and I was just like, when we were done, he's talking to me at the bar. And I'm just sitting there and he just goes, do you know I drove 6 hours to see? I'm like, why? Why would you do that? And he goes, I own all your releases, and like you'll never come farther to like Minnesota to see you. So like, or for me to see you. So I had to come and see what this is about because your records are really good. He's just like, then he like was just like, well, can you like hang out with me? I was like, yeah, I'm just probably gonna eat. Hold on. I like ran into the other room. They had a free pizza. I grabbed some pizza for us. I sat down and I grabbed a water and I was like, all right, let's just hang out. And he's just like, I wasn't hyping up the band. I was just like, so where do you live? Like, let's tell me what other stuff you're into. And then when you get a real response from someone, it is a good connection. You're like, yo, that's why I do a band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like really refreshing. But 6 hours, I was just like blown away. But he's like a super fan, exactly like me. He was just like, I have the whole discography.
Yeah, but
and I just need to see it.
the part of that is too is if you would do that to a band you really like, that's what you would hope.
I would hope
They
that
would
it would,
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just sit down and just have a normal talk. And like when I do that with people, I don't hype up my band. I usually just be like, what'd you eat today? Like, what's going on? Do you skate? Are you in a band? I don't know. Do you have a dog? Like, do you take your dog for a walk? Like, I just ask like normal questions to me because I don't want to talk about my band all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that you think it's awesome.
It's your life.
But I just want to know about more because I want that attachment. And I want to be like, I'm a real person. Like, I have feelings. Like, people have told me that, you know, the breakups or all this other stuff after shows, or like, I just came here from like having this huge fight with my girlfriend and you like really cheered me up because you pointed at me and like I felt that energy and I was like, awesome. Well, like, I'm gonna run to the Wawa. Do you want to like come with me? Like, still talk. I'm just really thirsty. Like, I don't want like some like dish detergent like water. Like, I just want to. I want to actually get like a bottle of water. Do you want to come with me? And yeah, so yeah, I just balance them out because like Lost Soul has a new video coming out, and I told those guys when Magic Camera happened, and we did a premiere in Myrtle Beach. First Allentown, then we did Myrtle Beach, and then I said I'm taking a huge chance by doing it in Japan because the one rider is from Japan, which I met 20 years ago, and we were still friends, and I made him part of my brand. That I was just like, this ride doesn't stop, man. Like, let's do another video in a few years, and not take as long, like everyone, because like, let's just seize the moment. You know what I mean? Like, everyone always says like, well, we should do one in like 4 or 5 years. I'm like, you guys can get enough done. I mean, this is a 2-minute part. I don't want to watch a video for like an hour and a half. I want to watch like a 30-minute or less video because I want to be motivated. I have like a short attention span. So
yeah. What do you do when you premiere them? I mean, you're not pressing them. I mean, is it just going online and
no,
then you guys are showing them? Or
I make DVDs.
You are?
Yeah, yeah.
You still do?
Yeah. Our friend helped me dub like 200 of them last time.
Yeah.
Or like I don't even know if it was 100 or 200, but he helped me dub them, and then I screen printed the covers at my house.
That's right.
Yeah, I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it. And then I had a premiere in Allentown, and I think immediately.
Where'd you do it in Allentown at?
The Alternative Gallery. Yeah. Brandon's like a really cool guy. He's a huge Tile fan for so many years, and he says he's running that nonprofit. I was just like, well, I don't know where else to do this because like I'd love to do it in a movie theater and get everyone out, but movie theaters are like locked into like such a schedule with like, you know, that's how they make their money. So it's like I don't want to do.
And then if you have to sell tickets because it's at a movie theater, then they're taking a huge percentage of it,
so
which you don't even really give a shit about because you just want to premiere it.
No, I just want to premiere it, and I want everyone to have a good time. So I was just like, can you get like, I know there's going to be close to 100 people here. Do you have enough seating? He's like, 100%. I'm like, well, do you have a video projector? He's like, yeah, 100%.
Does anyone still do stuff at the Ice House? I remember years ago, Andy did that one there.
Andy did one there, but I haven't seen like anyone else talk about it you know, in a while. Because I know it's kind of a big production. And then also Brandon hooks you up with like, he just gets a percentage of the door. And like, he was just like, and I know you, so how about like, we just work off of that. And if like we take money they ran a bar and like they sold sodas and also beer, but they said, if we can have all that money, because that's all our work, we'll just take a percentage for the door. I was like, agreed. Black and white, yes. Okay, handshake, done. Like, there's no gray area where like you're not worried about the money and stuff. So, yeah, I think we're gonna have one. We're trying to do the video by late June, so everyone has from February, March, April. early May to film.
When would you start, like, because you, I guess, are handling all the editing and all that on there?
No, Tyler is one of our writers. So
do you work with him on that, or do you trust, like, his creative opinion to just do it and then you kind of make final decisions at the end?
Well, he's been with us for a really long time, so I think he knows exactly what I want, but also he's like really down for criticism. Like, he's willing to listen because he's like, he respects.
You have to be, though. That's how you learn.
Yeah, and he like, because he made our first promo that was like an hour, a minute and 30 seconds long, and I was like, dude, it's not gonna work. And he's just like, what? I go, social media purposes, this is a new thing. It's got to be a minute or less.
Yep.
And he's just like,
it really changes editing. When I used to have to do those things for the American Hotel, that's when I really started, like, you have to cut out so much bullshit. I actually had to lose the 8-second intro that we used to have that Jer made, and then it was like, it's such a different way to edit, and it's really like, it's so bizarre how everything has to be instant.
Yeah, but it's also like, I've learned it. You know, I had like
it is a learning curve, but it's not. If you edit and do stuff, it's not that bad of a transition.
Well, I didn't know about it a few years ago. Excuse me. We made like the one Japanese writer owns like a wheel company, so I did cross promo with him, and then he gave me a guest wheel. So we made a minute 45 edit of like skating and stuff for me. And he's just like, no, take out 45 seconds of that. I just need 1 minute. And I was just like, why? He's like, social media, blah, blah, blah. And he was telling me about this all the way in Japan.
Yeah.
So I explained it to Tyler.
Yeah, Instagram is 60 seconds.
Yeah, so when I told Tyler about it, he was like, okay. But I was like, but just, I'm being honest. Not everyone's going to come through with extra tricks. Not everyone, I mean, you have injuries.
Yeah.
I'm coming back from one, you know what I mean? But it's just like, I still feel pretty good, but I'm like, I just got to be real with myself. And also everyone else has. So I was like, take out everything, take out that 30 seconds, make it 1 minute. And some of these dudes, I'm not sure going to have like a full video part. They might have to be grouped together. So, but yeah, late June, I think is what we're doing. So I'll probably start.
And you're also premiering it in Japan?
Yeah. So my goal is.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah,
I was telling Reppy about it, and he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, he's premiering it in Japan.
Yeah. Well, like I said.
How different is it for, like, the culture over there as, like, do they view stuff like how we, like, I know, like, the MMA and stuff, it's like they clap and, like,
they're quiet. Yeah, they're quiet.
Really?
During the MMA fights, they don't talk.
Oh, wow.
It's quiet, and at the end, they clap like it was like a presentation.
So it's like, well, I mean, have you done premieres over there, or like been to premieres?
I've only done one.
Yeah. How did it go as far as, like, is it like the same reactions as, like, yeah, like how, like, when, I remember, like, watch people would be like, yeah, like, real sick
I mean,
parts.
it basically was that, and you just don't realize, like, just imagine you just don't know what they're gonna do.
No, it's so vulnerable.
I was so
vulnerable,
so nerve-wracked. I was so like, we're playing this video in front of all these dudes, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like one of the best.
Does your wife go with you for support during those trips, or do you roll by yourself?
That one. She's coming this year.
That's cool too.
Yeah, she wants to go. Well, we got engaged in Japan, so she's from here. So, I think 8 years after I was in the military, we went back to visit friends, and then I asked her to marry me because I was like, if any girl can hang out with a maniac like me and deal with my injuries, and like, I mean, I've had some like crazy injuries over the years and testicular cancer, like all this stuff where like if she could still be by my side, I'm like, I've kind of found the cool one. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Mine usually run about 6 months.
Oh. but
he dates the crazy ones.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I don't pick,
she's very different than me. She's very quiet.
Sometimes you need that when you're a very eccentric person who is super creative. You almost need that off balance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's chaos.
And also, like, I don't hang out with her all the time, so I get excited to hang out. You know what I mean?
You have your own space.
Yeah, like go out. But like the premiere, like 2 years ago when we did it for Magic Camera, or 3 years ago, I was like so nervous.
When do the nerves start picking up? On the plane ride over?
Fuck, are you kidding me? They hit you. They hit you when you're shipping your boxes of DVDs over. And you're just like, oh my god, I want to know what's going to happen, because the one writer is very well known in Japan. So, I mean, the itinerary every day was serious. Like every night he would Ray, tomorrow we meet at photographer, 1:00. I go, we just flew in yesterday. Like, I have to meet a photographer for Transworld tomorrow. Are you kidding me? Like, Transworld Japan, I'm meeting a photographer. He's like, it's okay. 1:00. We get up at like 11:30. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, so he was super nice about it, but it was just like literally every single day when I was there, Tyler came with me, and I was just like, it's his first time anywhere, really. So I was basically like, please don't embarrass me. If you have questions, just look at me.
Pull me aside.
Pull me aside. Give me some eyes if something's weird or something, and I'll figure it out. Because I do know a bit of Japanese, so when I would meet photographers or I go to a shop, I can say what's up, or like just bowing alone and showing the respect of like, yes, this is your business and I'm visiting. Like, it goes a really long way. So when we did the premiere, I was so stressed. And then they did clap after certain people's parts. They didn't clap as hard for the USA guys.
Yeah.
But when Yu's part happened, when it was finished, they went freaking crazy. And then I had some of the Japanese skaters in like our friends section, so they even went more because they, have a very small brand. You know what I mean? Allentown, Pennsylvania. Like, where is that? You know what I mean? Like, no one cares, but they love obscure stuff over there, and they think it's rad that it's really hard to get. So what do you do when you visit? Well, I brought extra shirts that I screen printed, and if you took us around, I'd be like, oh, here's a shirt, thanks. And they'd be like, what? I'm like, you took me around all day. You helped me get on the train. Like, I don't know where I was. Like, you helped me order dinner. Like, just take a shirt. I don't care. And they're like, I'm like, oh, no. I made it in my house, in my kitchen. And they're like, what? Yeah, because this explaining to them your process of how you make stuff is just, like, overwhelming to them because they're just like, but you're just one person. I'm like, yeah, this is what I do. Like, some people sit on the internet or watch some stupid game shows or other nonsense, and I just like being active. You know what I mean? I like doing stuff. But when we did the premiere and we were leaving, I was really nervous because I didn't know how it came over. Like, I was super like, did we do a good job? Like, I mean, people seem stoked. I sold like 10 or 15 copies of the DVD. So I was like, well, that's cool. Like, but like, did we do a good job? And my friend owns a distribution over there called Kukunochi, which is like, they run like Coda and Fibro out of there, and a few others, I think, for like skateboard brands. And he pulled me aside, and he's a very good friend of mine. And Uru is like, hey, very good turnout for video. And I was like, yeah, it was like crazy because at the same time, which is nuts, the same day, didn't even know this was planned. Soy from Magenta Skateboards was by far one of the cool skaters. He had a art show right next to us in Tokyo, and then Lance Mountain had a Stussy art show where he was doing like these. He was making these bowl sculptures, and he was there. So this is all on the same night, and I'm just like, wow, this is all in the same week. This is so sick. And like running into those dudes and explaining like, hey, I'm here for this. And they're like, what? This is you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just some random dude from Pennsylvania this year. Because I remember meeting Lance Mountain because they were showing me, they're telling me there the day before being like, Lance Mountain is here. And I was like, yeah, right, whatever. I don't believe you. And they're like, no. Hotel. And I'd be like, okay. And so I go check it out. And next thing you know, they're like, they're like waving me on. They're like, Raychon, come and see. And I'm like, run over. I'm like, motherfucker, the guy's just sitting there on the curb hanging out. So introduce myself to him, say hi, be like, I've been watching you forever. I look really young. So he's like, hi. I'm like, no, I'm like 40. And he's just like, oh. I'm like, yeah, I think you're so rad because you're just fun and nice. What do what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I have an art show. And I was like, oh, sick. And he's just like, are you here for my art show? And I'll never forget it because I was just like, no, I have my own agenda. He goes, oh, are you on vacation? And I was like, no, I own a small skateboard company. One of my riders like works over here, but like we're having a premiere on Saturday in Tokyo at the skate shop. And he just goes, what? Really? I go, yeah, we're really small. It's nothing compared to you. You're fucking huge. Like, I'm nothing. But he's just like, well, what's the name of the brand? So then you just connect because he just remembers that there is people out there doing other stuff. So with all that going down, the day before the premiere, when we left, and my friend Uru was just like, your brand's changing. And I was like, okay, like, what do you mean by that? And he just goes, this is good. You did very good week here. And I was like, okay. And then immediately when we got on our flight Sunday, and I remember flying home, I was just like, oh, cool. Well, we flew straight from Narita Airport to Newark, which is like 13 hours straight. Ugh. It's awful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. It smells like fart balls.
I hate going to Pittsburgh, let alone that.
It was terrible. But when we got to Newark, I was like, oh, let me see let me turn my phone back on. You turn it on and you're like, notification. You put your phone in your pocket and it's still vibrating and doing this stuff for like 30 minutes. And you're like, well, what the hell's wrong with my phone? You look and it's just like all these new followers or like emails and people were buying stuff. I mean, the band link was hit up because I get those alerts too for like downloads and stuff. So I was like, oh, it really did change. So yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a fun June. It's a really fun year because I'm doing like a lot of stuff. Like I'm just trying to do like Tile Tour in June, in early June, Lost Soul premiere in end of June. I'm trying to do an art show in April, like second week in April at Freedom Tattoo in Slatington. My friend Vince does stuff there.
Yeah, Vince is rad. He's tattooed a couple things on me. He's
super
one of my
good guy.
favorite tattoo artists.
Yeah, super guy.
I actually did Rocky Dennis on the back of my thigh.
I think I've seen that before.
It says "Let's Party."
Yeah.
He's cool though. He did an NA on the side of my knee and stuff. Vince is an extremely talented tattoo artist.
Solid dude, and I've been tattooed by him for like 14 years. So
yeah, every time I see you get tattooed by him, I'm always like, shit, I need to get tattooed by him again.
And I just go there. It ends up, hey, let's just talk shit, and we hang out. And next thing you know, it's just like
very rad dude.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere. So he was just offered. He's like, yo, you want to do an art show here? And I was like, well, if I do it in April, then June, August for Japan. I'm like, holy shit. And then like October, I'm trying to go away with my wife for a week just so I can like decompress after a crazy year. And then UPS picks up. So then when I get back, it's just
that's
like
the thing.
hell. Yeah.
And I want to wrap up and get this point across. Is one of the main reasons I have you on is you're doing all of this shit and working a full-time job.
Yeah.
And like what I said to you on the phone is like I want one person, hopefully, that listens to, if it's even younger or somebody who's attempting to maybe try and do anything that they want to do with their life. And if you literally just keep going after what you want because you're driven by it and you're passionate about it and it's something that drives you and you don't ever give up on it, it may not reach the full potential that you want it to get to, but if you set that goal so far back and you come halfway, you're still doing way more with your life that you ever thought you could possibly do. Like when you started Lost Soul or even were at the jail talking to that guy,
I never thought I'd be here.
Would you ever think that you would be influencing people in Japan?
Never. Not one. That wasn't even a thought then. That was even like, I didn't, because I was just like, I don't even know how I could be a boss of my friends. I was just like, how in the world has this come in like 12 years, you know, or like running a brand or 13, I don't even know what it is anymore because it's like every year just blends together. But you're just like, I would never think that like I'm getting Japanese skaters.
That's crazy, man. Most people wouldn't even get on a fucking plane to do that. Most people wouldn't have the balls to show their video locally where you do have not a safety net, but where you do feel safe because you have a following in this area, let alone take it to a whole nother country that is not like the United States at all, and then have the balls to show them what you're doing on top of it. It's pretty remarkable and incredible what you've actually done with just taking a chance on being yourself. And it was the main reason I wanted to have you on, and the pleasure of even getting to pick your brain and even get you to maybe, I didn't know you were in the service, and I'm sure there's other people that haven't.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Yeah.
But I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity of even coming down here on your time, which is very limited for what you do, but we have a very similar passion, and the drive that you have is remarkable and pretty incredible because I don't see it that often.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, man. I also want to give you an opportunity to plug any social media or anywhere where anyone can go and check out further stuff if they want to get into the music or they want. I know your Instagram, you're constantly showing videos and stuff like that. And when you were explaining about like the raw skating and how you get into that, like you see that when you guys are like making shit out of just garbage you'll find and like putting stuff together. It's cool. You got a couple of characters that you go and do your stuff with, but what's all your social media and ways to find out your stuff?
I mean, it's Tile Noise on Instagram, Lost Soul Skateboards all the way on Instagram. And there's a Facebook page for like my personal page. You can always hit me up. I'm not like that guy who like just won't respond to your stuff. Like I'll actually talk to you like I'm a real person. And then
that goes such a long way.
Yeah. Well, I said,
I don't respond to anybody.
Yeah. No, like I get hit up quite often. It's just like I remember being that person. You know what I mean? Like, and I still hold down to like I should respond. You know what I mean? Like you never know what's gonna happen. Or like, I mean, a lot of kids don't have opportunities to like meet the pros or meet. I mean, I hate like rumor mills because then you like get all like sucked in when people are like, oh, that guy's like a self-proclaimed
It's
pro.
hard to do that.
Yeah, my friend hit him up and he was such a dick.
Yeah, but it's a
that's a lot in the beginning, but if you get through a lot of that bullshit and then you eventually just start putting up horse blinders and you're like, because I remember a time when a lot of shit was going on with me and then I got to a point in my business where I was like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I don't care that any of these people are doing this stuff. I'm trying to do this, and you're making this 10 times more stressful.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, even though with him, too, he would just start messaging people. And the ones that get back to him are always the coolest people. Like, they run big-time things, and I'm like, you're fucking talking to that guy?
Yeah.
He just messaged him. I mean, you got to do that. I mean, some people are like that, some people aren't. Like I said, back in the day, I hit up Henry Rollins a bunch of times. I just email him. He's like, hey, man, what's up? And I'm like, is this really Henry Rollins? Is this some fucking... He's like, no, dude. Like, what's up? And I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it was really you. And just,
I like your music.
yeah, I was like, hey, man, I seen your spoken word a whole bunch of times. It's really cool. That's all I got. And he's just like, hey, man, maybe we should think it out a little bit for somebody. And I go, fuck you, dude. I was like, I thought it was somebody right up. But he was cool with it. He was like, I'm just screwing with you, man. I'm glad, people like my stuff. Yeah, it's like normal fucking people.
Yeah, and also, like, I made that point many years ago. Like I survived testicular cancer. Like, I've had, like, a really...
That's huge.
Yeah. I had... It's, like, 27. I'm like, what the hell's going on in my life? So, to say that I'm still skating and doing stuff, like, I kind of, like, yell at kids that, like, kind of give me some shit about stuff. And I'm just like, go through my shoes.
Yeah.
Wake up in an ambulance. Wake up in an ambulance after you hit your forehead. Pee yourself. And repeat the same thing for about 3 hours while your girlfriend is staring at you, crying her eyes out.
Or even do that year in the Navy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that was terrible.
Yeah. I like doing all that. And I just tell people, I go, and then after that, the following year, you get diagnosed with testicular cancer. And you have to literally man up and realize that, like, life is hard.
Yeah.
And, like, what are you going to do? Are you just going to stop doing your stuff? Or, like, I sacked on a handrail and got like a pee bag, and I still skated and stuff. And people are like, well, "Why are you still skating?" I'm like, "Cause it's fun." But like, not everyone.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do? Sit around and feel sorry for yourself?
So I just feel like skateboarding has, like, I've always heard, skateboarding has made people like realize that like not everything's for free. You have to learn about overcoming challenges, and you're gonna get knocked down and pummeled a lot. But it takes someone with like a drive to like, you know what, I'm going to get past this and I'm going to figure it out. And whether or not I'm going to be like the best self-proclaimed skater, which I'm not, like someone turned me pro many years ago. It's just like, I'm just going to do me.
Yeah.
And like, if my friends think it's cool, awesome. And if some other random person who I've never met before goes like, yo, I don't need a discount on any of your stuff. Like, I will buy a shirt for what it's worth because I think it's super cool. I'd be like, awesome.
I had a friend come down today, and he was like, I was like, yo, I had an extra sweatshirt. And I haven't seen him in a while, and I like when people come to the shop because you talk to them. And they came down, and I was like, yeah, dude, it's 45. He's like, here's 50, dude. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'll give you the change. He's like, I don't want the change.
Yeah. It's really refreshing because you realize that there's real people out there, and not everyone's this I just need a handout, or I need
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with my bills and stuff. Yeah, no shit.
It's also nice
Yeah.
hearing it in person where he's like, yo, man, he's like, the studio looks really fucking good. He's like, what you're doing is awesome. He's like, I love all the new clothing. He's like, keep it up. And I was like, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's like I ran a half marathon once, and I never realized what those people were that are clapping and cheering that don't know you. That you need that.
Yeah, you need
It's
it
nice.
once in a while.
It's
Yeah.
nice to hear, hey, thanks, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and like I said, there's been people, like you said, shout outs. It's just like Andy from Homebase. Andy Poe's been like a good friend of mine for so many years. He's helped me out a ton. One time I was getting Converse shoes, so like, I mean, to have shoes to skate, I mean, someone thought that my skating was cool. So like John DeVoe, super cool guy. He doesn't work for them anymore, but he helped me out. And Peter from Brixton, man, Peter and David are they were where we were many years ago. They were selling beanies. I mean, I read their interviews and I met them, and they're like, we were doing the same thing you're doing. It's just, if you stay consistent and you stay persistent and don't slack off like ridiculously, you can own a bigger business eventually one day. Like, it takes time.
It definitely does.
So, I mean, like, most businesses fail within the first 5 years, and some of them barely get by after 10, but I'm like, I'm barely getting by, and we're over 10. So I'm like, I'm okay with that. I feel like I've done, like, a successful mark for myself in the Lehigh Valley. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so those are the people I really care. My bandmates, past and present. I love them to death.
Do you have a webpage for Lost Soul?
Yeah, it's lostsoulskateboards.com. And, I mean, you can go on there too. Like, there's a big cartel where you can order stuff if you want.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I mean, I always throw in free stuff, free doodles, you know, that kind of thing where, like, it's not like ordering from Amazon where you just don't even get, like, a receipt of anything. Like, I give you something else. You know what I mean?
You know what I did was I got 150 rabbit's feet. And I give out rabbit's
nice.
foot.
I remember you talked about that last year.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
they smelled awful because they're just dyed. And wherever I got them from, it was like some like country western outlet or something where like they probably just sell mostly to places where like school trips go.
Oh, okay.
And then like kids waste money like on switchblade combs or
Gotcha.
they sell to school stores. But I actually had to Febreze them because they smelled so bad. But what's funny is, like, I had people hit me up and they're like, yo, thanks for the rabbit's foot. Or I see friends who bought shit and now they have a rabbit's foot on their keychain. And
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
I'm like, rabbit's feet were cool. I like
when
them.
we were kids, yeah, for sure.
They're definitely gnarly and disgusting, but they're cool. I like it. And then I throw that in. Furby would always send us stickers, and I was like, yo, man, if you blast out like 50, 60 stickers, I'll throw stickers in with all of my shirts, and you can just put your Instagram on the back.
Yeah.
I don't know if it did anything for him, but I was just giving him the opportunity to get out there. But I always loved getting stickers when I got free skate or when I got skate clothes or bought anything like that. Yeah. It goes a long way.
It does. And like I said, a personal message, and like you treat everyone like a person. I mean, that's all people want. So I feel like that's it eases your mind so much more for me personally, knowing that like you're not really making a huge difference, but you are making a difference. You are like just putting it out there, being like, thank you for supporting a small business. Like, a lot of people don't think about that. Like, we all were a small business and we all still are. So it's just like, you should just keep it focused, you know?
Yeah, man. I think it's rad what you're doing. And once again, I want to thank you for coming on. If you're just listening to the audio of this, you can get the full video at Never Again Studio at YouTube. It's Never Again Studio on YouTube, and then the Instagram is Never Again Studios. It's just Never Again Studio, or Never Again will come up, but the Never Again Radio, I was trying to take it down, but the studio one is where all the YouTube videos and all the promos are.
Well, thanks for having me. It's really cool. Sometimes you just think like owning a small brand that no one gives a shit after a while, and you're just like, God, why do I keep doing this? Even though you're stoked, you have those moments where you question. You're like, but like when we talked about this a year ago, and I was picking up board graphics, and I was like, hey, I was just at Pennswood. Look at this, and you're like, I want to do this show. I was like, well, awesome. Like I like what you do too. This is sick. Now we get to finally meet each other. So. Yeah,
it was cool. I definitely, I was always interested in your story, and it's my favorite thing about interviewing is being able to, like, with being older especially too, and with how busy you are and how busy I am, I went with a ride with my buddy Dave, and we had to go up to his parents' cabin, and it was a 2-hour ride. And when it was over, I said we would have never have gotten that time to sit and talk for 2 hours unless we went up to the cabin together. And that's my favorite thing about doing this, is because with both of our schedules, there's no way in hell that we would have talked for, how long we've been going? Over an hour.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
When the fuck would we ever get to talk for 2 hours?
Yeah, almost never. Unless we were both getting tattooed by Vince.
Yes.
That would probably be the moment where like, all right, cool. We're both gonna get tattoos today. You can go first, and I'm just gonna carry on the conversation. And when I start getting done, you sit over there, and then we'll continue to talk. But yeah, I don't know. Thanks. It's
man.
really cool.
Thank you. And like I said, you can check it out at Never Again Studio on YouTube. I just started the Facebook, but there's so much bullshit that you got to put a bio and all this stuff. But the Never Again Facebook page is now back up, so you'll be able to find a lot of this there and check out Ray's stuff because. I don't know. He's got a good message, and the stuff that he does is not easy to do. So give it a watch or a listen, and I think I'm kind of learning how to end the show without having to pitch it to you to give a gospel.
Just dropping it on me? It's like, hey, guy.
I'm always like, hey, have your prepared speech.
Okay.
Oh, you know who did hit me up is the show stalker, Kelly Pettis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have no clue who she is. I actually had to block her on social media.
I did. Didn't you put a face over her face? I thought you did. I thought I saw you do that.
Oh yeah. That was. I'll post that. But I think she actually started coming to the studio, so we might have to press charges. But
well, I'll put up cameras.
Yep. And Kelly, if you hear this, please leave us alone.
Yeah, we're calling the cops. Weirdo.